Every time I get sick, I just assume my immune system failed, like it didn't show up.
Most of the time, it showed up before you even noticed anything was wrong.
That can't be right. I still got sick.
You noticed a sore throat. By then, your body had already been fighting with guards, soldiers, scouts, weapons factories, and cells that literally kill themselves to protect you.
Cells that kill themselves.
On purpose, built in. And that's not even the strange part.
What's the strange part?
The part that makes you feel sick, the fever, the swelling, the exhaustion, that's not the bacteria winning. That's your army doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Okay, so the immune system fights bacteria. I knew that much.
Right, but imagine you cut yourself on something rusty. Nearby bacteria sense the opening and move in, and they double in number every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes?
So within a few hours, what entered as a small group becomes tens of thousands. But here's what's strange, they don't attack immediately, they wait.
They're waiting for what?
For enough of them to be present. Bacteria actually sense each other's population. When they hit a certain number, they change behavior. They start damaging the environment around them. Coordinated.
So they organize before attacking. That's almost intelligent.
It looks that way. And that moment, the moment they cross the threshold, is when your body has to respond fast.
So what's the first line of defense?
The first responders are called macrophages. They're enormous, patrolling every border region of the body. When bacteria breach the skin, macrophages are already there.
How many can they handle?
Each one can swallow up to 100 intruders. They engulf them whole, trap them inside a membrane, and break them down with enzymes.
That sounds like it should be enough.
Usually it is, but bacteria multiply faster than macrophages can eat. When the macrophages get overwhelmed, they release chemical signals, distress calls, location, urgency, all of it encoded in protein messengers.
And then backup arrives.
A specific kind. Cells called neutrophils leave their patrol routes in the bloodstream and rush to the site.
More defenders, good.
Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Neutrophils are not precise. They kill bacteria, yes, but they also destroy healthy tissue. They generate physical traps. They are essentially weapons that can't distinguish between enemy and bystander.
Our own immune system damages us.
Constantly. And this is the part that stopped me. Neutrophils are so destructive that they evolved to self-destruct. After 5 days, automatically they commit suicide to prevent themselves from causing too much damage.
The immune system built a kill switch into its own soldiers.
Because a soldier that never stops fighting eventually turns on the body it's protecting. We'll come back to what happens when that goes wrong.
Why? What does that have to do with now?
More than you'd think. But first, there's a third type of cell, and this one changes the entire direction of the war.
What is it?
Dendritic cells. Think of them as intelligence operatives. They roam the battlefield, collect fragments of the enemy, literally tearing bacteria apart, and display those pieces on their outer surface.
Like carrying a wanted poster.
Exactly that. Then they travel, it takes about a day, to the nearest lymph node. And what's inside a lymph node is where this war gets decided.
What's in there?
Billions of T cells, waiting. But here's the part that genuinely unsettled me the first time I understood it. Before any of those T cells can fight, they have to survive training. A brutal selection process. 3 out of 4 don't make it.
3 out of 4 die in training.
The ones that would attack the body's own tissue, eliminated. The ones too weak to recognize a real threat, eliminated. Only cells with precise calibration survive. Then they wait in the lymph node for one specific enemy.
Out of billions of T cells, the dendritic cell has to find the exact one that matches.
The exact one. And when it does, that's when the real machinery starts.
What happens?
The matched T cell activates, then it duplicates thousands of times. An army built specifically for this one enemy produced in the middle of the battle.
Built from scratch while the fight is already happening.
Some of those copies become memory cells. They stay in the lymph node after the war ends. Some travel to the battlefield to help the macrophages, and some go deeper into the lymph node to activate something else entirely.
The weapons factories you mentioned.
B cells. When a B cell and 8 cell with matching configurations meet, the cell starts producing antibodies, proteins, engineered to bind specifically to that one type of bacteria. Millions of them.
That sounds like exactly what you'd want.
Here's what most people never learn. B cells work so hard that they would die from exhaustion within days. They would burn themselves out and stop producing right in the middle of the infection unless something intervened.
What intervenes?
Helper T cells travel to the B cells and essentially say, not yet. Keep going. We still need you.
The T cells are keeping the factories alive.
And the same signal that keeps them running is the signal whose absence lets them die. When the infection ends, the helper T cells stop sending the message. The factories shut down. The body doesn't maintain resources for a war that's over.
That's not just functional, that's almost beautiful.
Here's the thing that shifted how I think about being sick. Every symptom you feel during an infection, the swelling, the fever, the heaviness, none of that is the bacteria winning. The swelling is your blood vessels releasing fluid to make fighting easier. The fever is your body raising the temperature to slow bacterial reproduction. You feel terrible because your army is working.
Feeling sick means the system is winning.
In most cases, it means it was already ahead of you.
So this isn't really about bacteria at all, is it?
What you're looking at is a system that took hundreds of millions of years to develop, one that learned to fight, to communicate, to remember, and crucially, to know when to stop.
The memory cells that stay behind.
After every infection, most immune cells die off, their job is done, but a small group remains. They carry the record of every enemy the body has faced. That's why a disease that floored you the first time barely touches you the second.
Sometimes you don't even notice it at all.
The memory cells recognize the pattern and mobilize before symptoms appear. The battle is over before it starts.
It's like the body writes its own history, every infection recorded, every war remembered.
And the system that does that recording was shaped by every battle every ancestor of yours survived. It carries that history too.
You said earlier about what happens when the system turns on itself.
When the training fails, when a T cell that should have been eliminated slips through, and it starts treating the body's own tissue as the enemy.
And there's no clean way to tell it to stop.
Not yet. We can manage it, suppress it, but we can't simply reach in and correct a mistake.
So we have this system that spent millions of years learning exactly what to fight, and sometimes it forgets what it was protecting.